Well, Maverick, I see you're here. You're with me. You're in the flesh.
Yeah, I had to. It took a second. I had to come over and unmute myself. Yeah, my computer's smart and thinks that it's going to bug me for a Windows update after I just let it do a Windows update after bugging me for a week and then reset the fucking thing. And it loads up and it's like, update, blah, blah. And I was like, nope.
Yeah, I always say no to the updates unless if something's fucking up and I need the update. Yeah, I run by the philosophy: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well, they just want to put more spyware on my shit so they can know what I'm doing and check my files and put it with fucking big databases of everybody's personal and private information and blah, blah, blah. I don't trust none of them cocksuckers.
You know, I got to say, Maverick, that for backwards compatible, this is already our highest rated Let's Talk ever.
For live? Oh, well, I guess.
Well, we have 8 live viewers. I guess that there is a handful of people interested in what's going on, you know, with RebelKomix, right? Let's just dive right into this because I don't want to be talking about it all night. I just kind of want to get it out there and be honestly be done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I watched your video, right? You put up a video a little earlier, and you were speculating into various reasons why I might want to drop the channel. And you know, you hit a lot of beats, right? Like you said a lot of things that are true, you know, as possible reasons, because it's not just about any one reason. It's more like an evaluation of 2 years and how I seen the channel from its conception to where it ended up now, right?
Yeah.
And everything that happened in between that time period, my interactions with people and the responses I've gotten on the channel, things of that nature, you know, all kind of play a part into this kind of re-evaluation, if you will, what I'm doing, right? But let's start with RebelKomix. Like you mentioned that the channel is technically still there. It is. If you go there right now, you'll see a banner, and that's all you'll see. Because the channel is not deleted. At least not yet. It will be. The reason why it's still there and you just can't see anything is because there's a lot of videos that I am proud of that I made, right? And some of my tribute videos and my convention videos and stuff like that are videos that I want to download and put on a hard drive before I delete the channel, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's
so
good,
that's going to take some time.
That's good to know, though, because the only reason I noticed that the channel was technically still there, but all the videos were gone, was because the first thing I did when I got that message from you is I rushed over to that channel to try to download and save some of your videos before they were gone, like those tribute videos and stuff, because I figured I didn't know if you already did that or if you thought of that or if you just shut down the channel. I was like, shit, he's going to want those and I'm going to want them. I better go get them. And then I couldn't get the videos, like, shit. But yeah, so that's
the reason why, though, I made it private without telling anyone first, because I didn't want people just to, oh, you know, maybe we should get some videos to use as fodder against him in the future. He won't have access to them, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I never thought of that, but yeah, someone trolls or fucking idiots could just fucking, yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's sad that, you know, to think that, yeah, you got to think that way, but you kind of do, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, let me start off with saying this too, that this isn't like a bashing video. Like, I'm not here to drop names or start drama or pick on anybody, right? Like, that's not what this is. So if there are people tuning in looking for that kind of dirt, it's not happening here, right? We do have the Undisputed One with us. He's at work. I guess he's just going to sit in. He's here at my invite. But yeah, I mean, so if anyone's looking for that sort of stuff, it's not here. But that sort of stuff is a reason why, though, the channel's getting shut down. It's not the only reason why, but, you know, it's part of the puzzle, right? But here's the thing, Maverick. I've been doing this now for 2 years, right? Give or take 2 years, you know? And consistently and solidly. Yeah, I took in a small sabbaticals here and there, but they were small. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like I disappeared for a year and came back or anything. I've always been at it. I've always been trying to do something, you know, new with the channel, right? You know, we had the Sidewalk Slam as a small experiment. Like, for example, we've had the Chatting Dead. You know, I've done RebelKomix Top 10. I've tried review videos and game videos and live shows, you know, with an open forum and a closed forum and smaller versions of live shows. And, you know, just after 2 years of all that time and effort and not to see any significant growth is very discouraging, you know. And no one's going to, you know, you said it earlier in your video that no one's going to be this like overnight success in YouTube, right? And that if you're doing it for that reason, you're in it for the wrong reasons. And I agree with all of that. And I never expected that. But, you know, when you have 300 subscribers, right, and your videos are constantly getting like 12 views or 18 views, and on a good day, let's say, you know, it gets 30 views, right? Well, at maximum there, you're talking about 10% of your subscriber base is actually watching your content. The other 90 aren't watching at all. You know, and that's on a good day, right? Yeah. So who am I making videos for? You know, it just seems like to be a handful of people that I'm actually making videos for. So I mean, in that regard, so you know, but like I don't regret that those 2 years in that sense, because it's taught me a lot about YouTube in general, right? Yeah. If you look at the quality of videos I was making, you know, right when I started off, like fresh off the heels of WLC, and to what I can do now with OBS and things of that nature, it's night and day, right? You know, I run a pretty good gaming production channel, you know what I mean? In the sense of like, you know, I got my overlay set up, I got my music set up, things look good, you know, ratio-wise, that channel, even though it's only at like 50 subs, is like, you know, growing faster than the RebelKomix channel was, right? Even though it's not 300 subs, just, you know, it took a long time for me to get 50 subs on RebelKomix, you know. I never got him like, you know, like this. It still take, you know, the Rebel Gaming is still a very slow kind of crawl itself, right? But I had more fun doing it. I'm gonna play games anyway, right? So I might as well stream them and talk while I play them, because I find that to be fun, you know. I do look at that as you know, a pure hobby, right? You know, you know, there are things that, you know, like a lot of drama went down in 2 years, right? You know, and I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but there was the whole WLC thing, and then there was the whole flipping thing, and then there was the whole Res Reads thing, and, you know, other things that were sprinkled, you know, in there, right? And that all kind of, you know, left a bad taste in my mouth. You know, some things, you know, I was drugged into that had nothing to do with and that were held against me, and some things were completely my fault, you know. The one thing that I learned on YouTube is that you can have an opinion, but if your opinion doesn't relate to the consensus, then you're the bad guy, right? And I'm not the most politically correct person in the world, right? I'm, you know, I'm very opinionated. I'm kind of old school. You know, I see the world, you know, a little bit differently. Kind of like the Ultimate Warrior. You know, if you ever see interviews with him, he kind of beats to a different, you know, different drum, right? Yeah. And you know, there are things that I regret saying, and there are things that I don't, right? But I mean, I made a handful of friends in the comic book community, right? And I see those people often in Chaz's off-air hangouts, and the people that go there, they know who they are. And there are people that I interact with on Facebook, and they know who they are, right? And so I'm glad that those 2 years were able to make those cool connections. Now, there are a lot of people too that I didn't click with, or didn't click with me. You know, probably more people I did not click with than I did click with, right? Yeah. And the comic book community, say what you want about it, but there's a hierarchy in the community, and there's a lot of judgment that goes down in the community, and there's a lot of nitpicking and infighting and drama. I mean, it's all there. And over comic books, or the way that someone collects comic books, or maybe what type of comic books they buy, or, you know, there's this level of elitism that I really don't like.
Yeah, I often refer to the comic book community on YouTube to the old lady, like just like being in high school. You gotta almost think of it like you're navigating a high school while you're navigating YouTube.
Now, I don't expect the gaming community to be any different. I know it's actually a hell of a lot worse because it's much larger, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's gaming. You know, I've definitely been on a troll, you know, on game chat. So you know, probably since we had the internet, right? I
Yeah.
remember killing people using God mode on Diablo 1 just to be an asshole. You know.
Yeah, and it does make sense too that the stuff like gaming and other communities on YouTube, you expect that kind of thing. But when you think about comic books, and if you mention a comic book community, the average person that doesn't know any different is not going to think drama, bullshit, infighting, hierarchies, elitism, stuff like that. That's not what you're going to think when you think comic books. You're going to think decently friendly, half nerdy people that are nice and always get along because comic books, nerds.
And there is that, right? But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
With every coin, there's its two sides.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
the good parts were good. I mean, with RebelKomix, we did a lot of good things with it. I made some cool tribute videos that no one ever checked out. But I did a lot of good interviews with some really good independent comic book creators, and those were the moments of RebelKomix in that 2 years that I was most proud of. Those nights when we had like Colton Sorrells on, or J.R. Blanton, or Chris, the Dark Avenger, who's in the chat right now. Getting guys like that on, and just having like an hour or an hour and a half conversation about their books and making books was probably the best content we've ever produced on RebelKomix.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you can boil it down to, look, that was a chapter in your life. You read through it. That chapter's over now. Time to move on to the next one.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm doing, right? And so like I said, I'm not picking a fight with anyone. There's no problems with anybody. You know what I mean? But I think people, took me the wrong way, and that's been haunting me for 2 years. I want to say this too, because I took some flack, right, from the last video we did. The whole, scammer story sort of stuff there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you read the comments that were left on the video on my page, but basically, there was, not everybody, but some people thought that I was insulting to the Inside UFO, and that we called them stupid for dealing with Sunshine Morgan, right? And the message that I got was that he felt like that we drug him through the mud, which was never our intention. I mean, I know it did come off like that. I mean, if you go back and listen to it, we weren't exactly holding back. But I want people to understand something too about, and I'm not sure if this is the way with you, but it certainly was the way with me, was when we do a show like that, there's a certain level of being in character that comes into play. You take your personality, just much like in professional wrestling, you turn it up a few notches, and then you go and you perform, right? And when you're called RebelKomix and your whole shtick is being the rebel of the bunch, the guy who you have to tune in to see what he's going to say next sort of show, part of that was just kind of being in character, right?
Absolutely. You get a persona on your YouTube channel that you stick with, and every single one of us do it. And it's absolutely true. You amp it up a couple notches, like you said. And quite frankly, that video, that last one we did talking about that scam thingy, I mean, I did hold back. My first reaction would be say, well, you dumb fuck, you shouldn't have dealt with the person or blah, blah. But I mean, I'm wondering, I didn't see the comments. I'm going to go check them out though.
Well, they're gone. I mean, well, A, the video is private, but B, he deleted them. Well, no, the comments are gone. I mean, he deleted them.
Okay, well, because
I had, I fired. Well, let me tell you the rest of the story. I had fired back, okay,
yeah.
And I said, if you don't like what we have to say, tough. That's that's not how it works. We're allowed to have an opinion, and we're going to give it. And if you don't like it, there's the door.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we promote the biggest, is having an opinion and saying your opinion. So yeah, definitely.
Like I said at the top of the show, if your opinion is not, the popular one, then saying your opinion is actually more damaging than not saying an opinion at all.
Yeah, whether you're right or wrong, you could be 100% right and still, no, that's true. You could be 100% right about whatever you're saying, and if it's not the popular belief or opinion, then yeah, you're the villain.
And so when I told this guy, because I don't know this dude, okay, like I never, he doesn't subscribe to me, I don't subscribe to him, I never encountered him in an off-air chat, I never watched any of his videos, I don't know him from a hole in the ground. Let's just shoot straight there. And so, and I told him, if you don't like what I have to say, you can leave, right? You don't have to listen, Then he responded back with, "Get ready for the response video." In other words, I'm going to retaliate, right?
Oh, is there one? I'd like to see it.
There isn't one yet, you know. I trust me, I've been looking.
No, I will too.
But it's that kind of bullshit that I just don't want to deal with, right? I mean, that's another part of that. You know, that wasn't the reason why I dropped RebelKomix, but that was like kind of
That's a good example.
An example of things that made me decide to do it. You know, like I just.
And so that was the actual.
Let's say this guy did make a retaliation video. I'm like, yo, he drugged me, you know, and he says his piece, right?
Yeah.
Then what? Do I got to make one? You know, like how's that work? You know, like fuck, right? Like fuck me, you know. Don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to deal with it. You know, my focus is Niobe, right?
Yeah.
That's the primary focus here. And you know, the other thing is that I'm trying to get this book somewhere, you know, out of the fucking, you know, ground level that it's on. I you know, I need this book with the publisher at some point, right? That's the goal here, right? That's what we're aiming for. And the more that I express my opinion, the more I jump online and say my piece, you know, the more that I be that old school guy, the more damaging it is actually to the comic of me getting signed, because no one wants to deal with a hothead. As soon as something goes wrong, he's going to go on YouTube and fucking burn bridges. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a true fact, true statement, because that does happen. And you got, I mean, there's beefs people have had on YouTube, not in the comic community, but other places that I've seen, that people have gone that far writing people's publishers or writing people's employers and stuff like that, because they're somehow their information eventually gets leaked after a beef, and it fucks up. It can fuck up your livelihood, like, definitely. So, and that's also something, I mean, like you said, with the Niobe thing too, you're trying to make your fucking book and always having to fight back and forth with people with that sort of shit. Because you're right. He makes a response. He makes a response. They find offense with something, and then be the aggressor by, instead of just moving on because you don't like it and there's millions, literally millions, hundreds of millions of other things to watch. Instead of moving on, you want to start conflict. So you start conflict, and then you threaten a response video, whatever. And then you're absolutely right. They make a response. Then what do you got to do? Yes, yeah, exactly. You've got to make a response video to their response video. And like I said, your thing is, you know, you're the rebel of the group. That's the thing. That, and I definitely see not wanting to have to always be going back and forth with that shit. Plus, again, with other issues as well, wanting to deal with that and do your gaming channel and try to live your actual life and try to do your Niobe, which, like I said, that's the primary Niobe. Like I said, that's the primary thing. That's what it's all about. And that every single thing you got to deal with takes away from working on Niobe. And
the other thing with the channel is that it was too crowded with a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't have like a single focus. Like, it started off with a single focus, but where I started adding things like the games to it, and you know, the Chatting Dead and the wrestling show and the tribute videos and all this stuff, it just became like this kind of jumbled mess of stuff, you know. And then I had like the, you know, the Niobe vlogs on there and stuff like that too, you know. Like, I was using, you know, this one-stop shop for everything, right? Instead of like just really kind of picking out what its focus should be, or what is it that I really want to do on YouTube. And the bottom line is that ultimately, you know, everyone would love to make money off of YouTube. Okay, if you could get paid to do this, wouldn't you love doing this, right?
oh, absolutely.
But that's not how I made my money off YouTube. My money off YouTube came from indirectly through sales by people hearing about my book, right? So I would, you know, YouTube was my platform amongst many others like Twitter and Facebook to talk about Niobe, spread the Kickstarter around, get the links to the store out there. And then, you know, people could take those avenues to get the book, or they can contact me directly. So YouTube has helped me sell the book. And that's what YouTube is for me, is a social platform to get the word out about the book. And so what's going to happen next is backwards compatible is going to continue just like it is right now. You know, it may be a slow build, but we're going to keep this channel. And this is going to be a channel for me and Maverick to come on just like this. And two guys, you know, shoot the breeze about whatever topics they want to talk about, right? That's, to me, what backwards compatible is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother uploading any game videos or stuff like that here. That's for the game channel. This channel here is for me and you to get together and talk, you know, but do it live. You know what I mean? To me, that's what this is. And if it evolves into other things, that's cool. But the core of it is what we're doing right now, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing is Rebel Gaming is still that's not going to change.
Well, that's fun too. You're having fun with that. Whereas I can't imagine trying to do my comic channel or whatever and dealing with all that shit. That's not fun. So, I mean, that's a huge difference too, right? It's a lot easier to do something if you're enjoying it than if you've got to put actual work into something that's supposed to be fun, that you're supposed to enjoy. Right? And it's, I mean, my whole thing, Maverick Freelance's whole thing is I'm confrontational. It's me that you want to, I'm the one that likes to, I like being confrontational with people when they're being trolls or idiots, stuff like that. So that's my channel. That's what I do. But it would not be fun for me if that was not my thing and I had to deal with that shit. And just like, definitely, you know, I can't see it being fun for very long when stuff just one thing after another. And then like contrast with your gaming channel where, like you said earlier, you're going to play games anyway. You enjoy it. You enjoy talking and stuff while you're playing the games. Why not stream it and enjoy it? And I would predict that channel, your gaming channel, is like I think I said in my video that I put on my channel earlier today about your gaming channel, is that like it's consistent, right? Consistent with views, consistent with growth. The growth isn't overnight exponential. The growth and the you know, but like it might, even if it is a slow go, it seems to be consistent so far, and it's something you enjoy. So, I mean, it definitely makes sense to put more effort into. It's not even effort. That's the big thing. It transitions from being effort to no effort at all when you enjoy it. So, I'll show.
It would have been really hard to do 2 years ago, where I didn't know a damn thing, right? And I didn't have the equipment. But the good thing about doing RebelKomix is it helped me be able to do YouTube a little bit better, in the sense of, you know, just being used to the camera and getting the right microphone and you know, getting a sound card and, you know, getting the webcam and, you know, learning things like OBS and, you know, Adobe Premiere for editing videos. So like all those skills now, even though I'm still learning them, I have them now, you know what I mean? And I can apply those now to the gaming channel, make the gaming channel even better now that I have this, you know, experience with it. So like I'm going to be on a schedule with the gaming channel. For the most part, it's going to be Monday to Thursday in the evenings, right? You know, when I'm sitting at home basically doing nothing. I'm not going to commit Friday to it, because Friday is the night that I do like to go out when I do go out, you know. But I'm also going to be doing Twitch, right? Like I'm going to be hitting Twitch, late night Twitch, probably at like 3 a.m. to 6 before I go to bed, sort of thing. And I'm going to stream on Twitch too, you know.
Yeah.
So the video game stuff is actually going to be a bigger part of what I do on YouTube than anything else, other than the next channel, because there is going to be a new channel. There is going to be a replacement for RebelKomix, but it is just going to be a channel strictly for Niobe. It's just going to be a channel where I can do the Niobe vlogs and give updates and, you know, things like that. And that's going to have a brand new, fresh start. And those who are interested in the book can sub. You know what I mean? And I only want people that are interested in the book to sub. You know, a lot of people will sub each other just because they're buddies. You know, and that's cool and fine and all that. But if you're not going to watch, right? You know, we can still be friends. You don't have to sub it. You know, like. I want to keep it strictly for those that are in the independent comic books and those that would be into that book in particular. You know. And on that channel, it will be, you know, 99% talk about Niobe, and the other 1% will be the odd time if I can get, you know, a creator to come on the show, and we'll talk about their book. But it's, you know, never going to go past the indie level. And one of the things that I found, and that, you know, this doesn't apply to everybody, okay? Anything that I say doesn't apply to everybody. But, you know, one of the things that I found is that a lot of people in the community just don't care about ground level indie comic books, you know, not like the way that I do or you do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes me sad. Almost every time I go to watch a haul video or something, most of the time it's because I'm waiting to see, like, okay, yeah, I know they got a bunch of stuff you can see at your comic shop, but do they have anything that like I wouldn't see at my comic shop, you know, an independent level? So that's what I'm looking for, and I'm looking through people's comic videos for hauls, but very rarely. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, you know, we can talk indie comics there, and like I said, if I can, you know, score an interview, then I'll do it. But really, it's for Niobe and Niobe only. I'm not interested in like doing haul videos anymore, or running live shows anymore, or you know, anything like that. You know, like it's just not in me to do.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, there's so much of that. You know, when you look around and you go to a subscription list on YouTube, you know, you can count on every Wednesday seeing 50 fucking haul videos and 100 fucking contest videos, and you can count on, you know, the live shows covering the same bits of news that you see in your Facebook feed. You know what I mean? Like, there's enough of it. I don't need to add to it. You know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense, and it's yeah. I mean, it's just one.
If I buy a book and I'm proud of it, you know, I'll take a picture of it and throw it on Facebook or something. You know what I mean? Or post it up on my Twitter. And if I really want to show something off on my gaming channel, I will. You know, but that it stops about there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, that'd be not only good channel, but I can't think of any other channels that are dedicated to, like I said, independent comic work, and like I said, a channel for Niobe. And if anything else, it would be, like I said, independent level stuff. And that's actually, I think, a really unique and really good idea for a channel. As far as I know, no one else has a channel like that that's dedicated to their own work plus, you know, local, like independent level stuff. There might be, but I've never seen one. So
Yeah, and this channel isn't going to spring up overnight. Like I don't plan to launch it until it's Kickstarter time.
yeah, and that'd be, I mean, like, yeah, a whole event for the Kickstarter launching the new channel and shit. That'd be cool. But
Well, I
no,
mean,
yeah,
the
it's
use for it is that in Kickstarter you have to, you know, you can do video updates, right? So I would just make my videos on YouTube, post those links in Kickstarter, and then the backers can go there and get those updates in one place. They don't have to worry about seeing a bunch of other crap or hearing about a bunch of drama that has nothing to do with the book they're backing, you know?
yeah, no, definitely. And hopefully, you know, by then, some certain people will forget about this video here. And I'm just thinking, like, because I know that every time I put say something about a new channel or something like that, my trolls are like, okay, so maybe enough time people to forget. Because that's one thing that, like, I don't mind trolls on most of my videos, but on some of my videos and some of other people's videos, when I see thumbs down and crap, just people that I know people are just trolling, it pisses me off so much. I mean, you might not care, other people probably don't care, but I'm just like, fuck, it's not even me, and it pisses me off. Hopefully it'll be one of them things where it's forgotten about, and then when it launches, the people who should know about it, and that's, you know, your, like say, your primary target audience. Other than that, everyone else fuck off.
Yeah, we got some names in the chat room here. I just want to go over quickly. These are people that, you know, are generally interested, I would assume for the most part, of, oh, you know, what's going on. And this isn't a big deal to me. Like, you know, I'm just addressing it because I've gotten a couple of messages. Why? So, you know, the best way to do that is just do a quick video on it, explain it all out. And then if anyone wants to know why, they can be directed here and then they can hear it. I don't have to explain it 100 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in our chat, though, we do have Uncanny Kyle Waka. We have Undisputed Frost. We have Mr. Gresky 9966. I'm just going to have to scroll up here a little bit and see the other names. I haven't been reading the chat because it's just been a lot of kind of fucking around in there, really. Well, let's see what's going on. Dark Avenger, C86, Chris is here. Chaz is here. Reaper Tate is here, or was here. And then whoever else may be lurking out there in the shadows, right? Chaz said, thank God your comic channel sucked. I don't know if to take him seriously or not.
No, I never take that. Like right now, he's saying blast it, JLS, New York Warriors, all talking about Larry's retirement. Emergency
But,
life.
you know, to some people, I'm sure the channel did suck. I mean, if you're not into indie comics and stuff like that, and that was a lot of what we covered, you know, in many cases, yeah, it probably did suck to you, you know.
Yeah.
If I got something else, you can suck too, right? Like, now I'm getting nasty. All right. Let's see what else is saying here. We support you, Larry. That's cool. Frost says that he poops himself every live show he's on. Is that bad? Well, it's not good. Let's see. So again, a lot of hellos, and Chris says that he has 3 different personas because he has 3 different channels. And I'm just kind of at the top of the list here, so let's scroll back down. A little bit of talk about Twitch. Chris and Mike are talking about doing Twitch as well for their gaming. Frost has done Twitch. If you got an itch for the Twitch, it is Rebel Gaming XXX.
I tried playing on Twitch, streaming on Twitch and shit like a while ago, but I could. There's something about the videos only stay up for so long, for a little while. I don't know how many days it was or some shit, but I was like, what? No. And then I forgot about Twitch.
Well, yeah, a lot's changed with Twitch. I mean, if you're going to start any sort of gaming and you want to be successful, you really need to go to Twitch first. And then YouTube, after you have a following, is the general order of things. And I kind of went backwards, right? I started with YouTube, and now I'm looking at, okay, maybe I should do more on Twitch, But Twitch is where you start. And now Twitch is oversaturated, just like YouTube is now. I mean, if you started Twitch maybe 3 or 4 years ago, you'd be in a better position to build a channel there. But I've watched, a lot of videos on how to grow a gaming channel, how to grow a Twitch channel, how to become successful on Twitch, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I got all the info I need now. And a lot of it is, you need to have some decent equipment, right? You need to be playing games that, don't have 100 live streams going at once. So Overwatch, really doesn't fit that bill. You need to play a game that, no one else is playing, but it's still popular, right? As a beginner, how many people stream World of Warcraft? Tons, right? You're not going to get a bunch of subs because you're doing Warcraft. You know what I mean? Not unless if you're like some high profile player,
Yeah, and they usually get probably high profile player off of other games that, because like I said, if you're trying to do like World of Warcraft, like you said, so many people are already doing it.
Yeah. And so no one, you might get like one person that jumps in your Twitch and watches for 2 minutes and then fucks off, right?
Yeah.
So you got to do something that isn't overly saturated, but still interesting and popular. You need to have, decent equipment. You don't have to have top of the line cameras and microphones, but you need to have a setup. You know what I mean? And you need to, obviously talk with your chat. And if you don't have anyone to chat, and this is the hardest part, Maverick, this is where sometimes I struggle with, right? Is you still need to talk. You have to talk. If someone comes into a Twitch or YouTube game stream and they watch for a minute or two and they don't hear any talk or any interaction, they're out of there. You know what I mean? They just don't care, So you have to have a personality. And in many cases, you have to kind of bring out that character in you. One of my favorite people to watch on Twitch or YouTube right now is Brittany Venti, because she's fucking hilarious. And she has this character where she plays this very snobby, naive, almost like Mean Girls sort of bitch. It's funny, right? But when you see her out of character, she's completely the opposite person, and she loves trolling. She uses that character to troll the fuck out of people, right? And I find it funny as how I learned a lot just by kind of watching her stream. Not in the sense of like her character, but in the sense of the way that she has her overlays. Like one of the next things I plan to do is get a green screen.
Yeah. That's something that's been on my list too. It would be awesome to have.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get one that you can kind of fold up and fold out sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so that I can put a background behind me, or if I don't want to have any background at all, it's just kind of me in the chair and that's all you see, right? I'll be able to do that. So that means, once I get the green screen, I'll need a new camera, one that works with green screens. And the best one that you can get right now is a Logitech like 920 or 930C.
Yeah.
And it's like $100 camera, but it's it's a really great fucking webcam. If you ever see the picture on these things, it blows you away. And I already got the audio. Like I have like an external sound card and XLR mic. And I've gotten pretty okay with OBS for the most part. So I got all the tools I need now to really, once I get the green screen, the other thing I want to get is a capture card, the Elgato.
Yeah.
Because you can stream directly from the Sony,
but you can't have all the bells and whistles, like the cool overlays and stuff like that, right? And so,
That's, I tried explaining that stuff, some of that too. I met Spartan Gaming like a year ago because I was talking about saving up, trying to get an Elgato HD Pro thing, and he was like, "I still don't know if it'd be good for gaming or for streaming games, or whatever." And it's like, no, I can. But no, that's a diverging there. Yeah, no, the that is one of the things. Like I said, it's awesome that you can stream from the PlayStation, but like you said, if I'm going to stream a game, I want my bells and whistles, like you said.
right. You know, you want to be able to, you know, run some music maybe before you start, and you want to have, like, you know, if you get up to take a piss break, you want to be able to put like a sign up there saying, you know, be back in 5 minutes and that sort of stuff. Like, I have all that going on now, right? Like, I've pretty much got like a full show, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fun, you know, and I'm going to bring it on Twitch, but I'm still going to do YouTube too. Like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to run the wire on both ends here and see what happens. And there'll be nights where I'll miss, I'm sure. There'll be nights where I'm late because I'm like Bret Hart. I'm notorious late to everything. But, you know, one of the things that you have to do with it is consistency, right? You just can't stream whenever you feel like it. You got to have some sort of schedule. You know, even if you kind of loosely keep it, you still have to have something, you know, to be a Twitch partner, right? Like for Twitch to like actually partner up with you and you get ad revenue and stuff like that. You need to be streaming at least 3 days a week for about 15 to 20 hours or more, right?
Yeah.
Like a week, right? For them to even consider partnering with you. And you have to show a steady growth of viewership. It used to be that you needed, like, your videos needed to average 500 views of video, right, or a live stream before they even partner with you. But no one was reaching that. And then it kind of went down to around the 250 mark, and some people were hitting that. Then they decided, you know what, we're not going to assign a number to this. Just if we see growth on your channel and you're streaming consistently, we will consider partnering with you.
Yeah.
So that opens the doors to both good and bad. I mean, it kind of pisses off the hardcore Twitch people that had to work and earn their way up for so long. Now that almost, to them, it's like almost anyone can come in now and might get partnered, right? That kind of diminishes their achievements. But at the same time, that does open the door for someone like me to try and get a partnership where I wasn't there on you know, from the ground level up, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's, again, stuff changes all the time, and you know, ultimately, you know, you're working on that, you enjoy it. That's, you know, bottom line, you're enjoying it, and that's what you should be able to do when you're doing anything, especially if you're going to use your time and your hobbies to stream on YouTube or anywhere like that. So, you know, that's it's a good thing. Like I said earlier, it sounds like, it feels like it's just, okay, look, this was a chapter of my life. I read it. It's over. Time to move on to the next chapter. See where the story goes from there.
You know, it was an interesting 2 years, and I learned a lot. And like I said, you know, I can take those experiences now and make what I do better. And I can still have a channel for Niobe, and I can still have that platform to sell that book. And but I don't have to worry about the rest of it. Like, when I say I want to kind of exit the community, I don't mean the entire world of comic books, right? What I mean is just all this niche group with all their drama and their bullshit, right? I want out. I want out, right? Forget you know me. Unless if you're in a Niobe or you're a friend of mine, cool. But I mean, you know, other than that, like, I want out, right? And so drop the channel. Don't make comic book videos unless if it's about my own book, and I'm out, you know?
Yeah, and that's, you know, it was a like I said, and that's a good thing to know that, yeah, there might have been some shit, but you know, ultimately, you did what you did. You spent your time with Rebel Gaming. You learned what you learned, and it helped you grow. And you know, now, like I said, the next channel you launch and Rebel Gaming, as you work on it, it just keeps getting better and better. And then, you know, it's I'm glad that it's ending on, I guess, with all things considered, you can call a positive note, because it could have very well been any of a million different situations, half of which are negative. Like, you know, yeah, a beef with someone just went too far, or just too much, you know, anything could have happened that could have been a lot worse. And the fact that you're seem to be more or less satisfied and accept it with the fact that, yeah, you know what, I spent 2 years doing it. I learned a lot, and I'm going to take that away from it as a positive thing. And I'm not bitter. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
let's move on.
You know, I'm actually very relieved. You know, like when I put all the videos on private and I looked at it, and you know, like from an outsider in, you know, like you can like view as other. I was like, yeah, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, all I have to do now is kind of go through all the videos and pick out the ones I want to keep and download, and then turf the rest. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And then, you know, maybe those videos get uploaded another day, or maybe they just sit in a hard drive. You know what I mean? But
well, either way, at the end of the day, you want to do what you want to do what you want to do, and you don't want to do it being stressed out about it. So, you know, it's it sounds like it's an overall positive thing. Like I said, I can't think of any better way to say it than it just seems like, you know, that chapter's over, time for the next one. No regrets, no, you know, shit, good and bad. What happened.
Yeah,
what happens
I can spend my time talking about comics, or I can spend my time making and promoting my own, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, like I said, the channel wasn't growing. It had like 300 subs, and like I said, on a good day, maybe 30 views for a video, right? The only time that people were really interested in coming to my channel to hear what I had to say is if they knew a fight was going to get started, right? They knew drama was going to be dropped. You know, if they knew I was going to shit talk on somebody, right? Yeah. That's when it got popular, you know. That's when you see like, you know, 100, 200 views on a video, and but that's not what it was about. You know what I mean? It was about
supposed to be about your love of comics and the comic culture, and instead jump on YouTube and it turns into, hey, I'm back in high school for however long I'm on YouTube.
You know, I have the same handful of friends that come and join me when I do these shows. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of them are in the chat right now. And there are a few like Cat Ren, who isn't, or Spaceboy Jordan, right? And you know, a few other names that will follow me over to the new Niobe channel anyway, right?
Yeah.
And then so I could take those people that I like, and then build that channel from there, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I think it sounds like a good idea, because I mean, not only is it like I said, something dedicated to your project, Niobe, your baby, your personal work, to promote that and to tell everyone about that, spread the word, stuff like that. But if, like I said, you mentioned maybe if you do anything other than Niobe stuff, it would be like at the independent level. And if anything like that happened on that channel, again, I think it's a really good, a really unique idea. And now that you got me thinking about it, I don't know why no one else has done it yet. I mean, maybe someone has, but I've never seen it.
No, I'm sure someone has. It's just such a small niche that not many people are interested in it, right? Like, it's not going to be one of these things where you're going to have thousands of subs because all these people are into indie comics. They're not, you know. I mean, you know, if you want to talk comics just for a quick second here, a comic is doing well if it's doing like 20,000 or more in sales, right?
Yeah.
And what's the population between Canada and the U.S.? Like, you know, millions and millions of people, but out of all these millions of people, only 20,000, let's say on average, are buying an Avengers book, you know, as an example, right? And then out of those 20,000 people, how many of those people are actually going on YouTube to learn about comics and what they bought? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then out of that percentage, how many of those are even know that RebelKomix even existed, you know, like,
or like going and checking it out, but also doing their own thing, like on YouTube with the, you know, because I know some people, and sometimes I do it too, where it's like, I want to know something about a comic or something like that. I'll go look it up. I'll look it up on Google, and then I'll check YouTube, stuff like that. And then later on, if I'm thinking about it, or if it has something to do with the video I'm doing, I'll talk about it. And there you go. There's just another person who regurgitated the same information online.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I don't know what else I can say on the subject. I mean, you know, you guys in the chat, if you have any comments or questions while we're still on, I mean, now's the time to fire those off before I do kind of, you know, call her quits and actually get back to gaming. You know, when I was waiting for Maverick to get back in touch with me, I've been working on my, you know, Twitch overlay with my schedule and the games that I'm going to be playing and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Anyone got any questions or anything like that? You got a minute to let us know.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Because there is a little bit of delay, so we got to let that information sink in for a second, you know.
Yeah. I'm just.
But you can see in the chat, right? Like people are saying that, you know, they're subbing to your other channels and stuff like that. And, you know, those are the people that we want to be around with anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody in the chat here, right? Reaper Tate is the newest person, the newest name that I know I haven't been able to recognize for a long time. Like, I mean, geez, just in the last few weeks, Reaper Tate 728 is someone that I don't know, and that I just started seeing.
Was the first victim of Sunshine Morgan.
That's okay. That's why it's relatively familiar, but I can't figure out why.
You remember that whole video that you did the commentary on?
Yeah, yeah.
Reaper Tate was in it, right?
Well, and I know that like Mr. Gretzky is always around. Always. Every time I do anything live, at least for a minute, Mr. Gretzky pops in and is like, hey, man. Frost is always around when he can be. Kyle Walker is, I don't know where he actually lives. He wants us to think he's on the other side of the world, but I think that's just because he's some kind of android that doesn't sleep, because it doesn't matter what day or what time it is. If you go live, Kyle pops in to say hi.
Yeah, he's there.
Chaz always pops in to troll.
Yeah, he does.
Chris, Dark Avenger, good dude whenever he can be. He does a lot of work himself with YouTube and other groups with YouTube and stuff, but when he can, he's almost always around. Even just
doesn't do a lot of YouTube, man, but he does his own book, right?
Yeah, Celestial Falcon, his own book.
So let's give a shout out to that, and a shout out to Undisputed Frost's channel, because he just did a review on Celestial Falcon. Like, he already got the book in the mail, sort of thing. So
yeah, I seen that earlier today. I was gonna say that, like, there's already a review if anyone wants.
I haven't even ordered mine yet, and Frost is already, he's already got it,
Yeah, no, definitely. But and like I said, everybody that's in the chat right now, I'm looking through who's been here from the beginning and who's still, like, looking at all the people, and everyone that's been in here are people that, like, so I know for a fact every live stream I'm either going to see Brian Spaceboy, Mr. Gretzky, and or Uncanny Kyle Walker. They might not be there at the same time. I guarantee almost there 99.9% of streams they're all gonna pop in for at least a minute to say hey. Frost, like I said, he's an awesome dude, and he's always, whenever he's around, if he's not doing something else in your stream, and even the fucking guy comes in while he's at work and pops on just to be around, right?
Yeah. The
point is, and even people that haven't been mentioned that aren't necessarily here right now, like Steve and other people, there's so many people that are just fucking shit, but then there's so many people that are worth having around. Like these people that we have in the chat here now, and the people, like I said, we know who's going to follow the Niobe channel when it launches, right?
Oh yeah.
Within the overall elitist, favoritism filled, social justice warrior, diseased community, we have our own block in that community, right? And the people that interact with that block within the community, we know who we can count on to support the channels or new videos. We know who we're going to see and stuff, like who we expect to see, and whatever happens in the future, it might be the end of RebelKomix, but it's not the end of Niobe. It's not the end of Larry. It's not the end of the Rebel. And you know what? I don't hear any bitterness or anything like that. It sounds like it's a positive thing, and that's the most important thing. It's been with the good and the bad, it's been an overall positive learning experience, if nothing else. And it's time to move on. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. Gretzky here is saying that he's got 3 copies of Chris's book. Right on, man.
Nice.
So yeah, guys, when I do launch the new channel, we'll come on here, obviously, and we'll talk about it. And I'll have links on my Facebook and Twitter, when that does go up. In the meantime, if you do want to, keep up with me on the YouTube side of things, so I'm not quitting YouTube. I'm just quitting comic book YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Rebel Gaming XXX. I have the links everywhere. Shouldn't be that hard to find. And a lot of times I go on there, Maverick, and I'm not even gaming sometimes. Like I'll go on there and I just kind of like talk for an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or about games or about anything else, and then I'll dive into a game. Like some of the best streams just isn't all games. Some of it is conversation. Like one of the things I plan to do is bring some Let's Talks over there, like Let's Talk Overwatch. And I'm just going to talk about Overwatch for a half hour and give my opinions on, maybe what the new updates are like and, what I think about certain changes and,
You know, I just got Tekken 7. That's going to be a game I'm going to cover a lot. You know, Injustice 2 has eaten up more time of mine than I ever thought it would. And I, you know, even with Tekken 7 sitting there, I find myself wanting to play Injustice. You know what I mean? But Tekken 7 has always been like, well, Tekken has always been my favorite fighting franchise. And I don't know, you know, if you've been keeping up with E3 like over the weekend, but there seems to be some cool stuff coming out. Like, you know, and the biggest to me, obviously, is going to be Star Wars Battlefront 2. So,
yeah. No, I haven't been paying too much attention to game. I've just been trying to do so much other crap. I haven't even paid much attention to video. I've played a little bit of World of Warcraft, some classic games and stuff. Where I haven't even been doing any classic game videos really yet because no one's interested in them. But I mean, no, I haven't been paying too much attention to video games except for when I just downloaded a Tekken game on the PlayStation for the kids upstairs, and the youngest one, Hazen, got frustrated because he was on a winning streak because he's actually pretty good at it, for crying out loud. But his winning streak turned into, hey, you just lost, and he got frustrated and smashed the big screen TV they had up there. So at 4 years old, going on 5, I had to. Yeah, I didn't think he'd do anything like that. So like 6, but other than that, I haven't paid attention to any game that wasn't from like the 80s or early 90s, other than World of Warcraft and Star Trek Online in like weeks. But
so Mav, I think we should wrap it up. But I don't want you to leave. I want to talk to you off air for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but we'll say goodbye to everyone else. So, toodaloo, that's the news. You can spread the word around that it's done. You know, that's the purpose of this video. So, you know, I want to just say thanks for those that were cool with RebelKomix and what we were doing. And, yeah, things evolve, things change, and nothing ever stays the same. So,
yeah, no, definitely true.
Any last words there, Mav?
No, just... the only thing that's a thorn sticking in the back of my head is just that it does kind of bug me about the fucking dude on the comments. But if that person does catch this video, come on my channel, because I said shit too. So come on, I held back that time. If you think,
yeah, well, I mean, we were both insulting, is what he said.
Yeah, well, that's good. He can
explode.
I re-uploaded the same night that we did that live stream. Once it was uploaded, I downloaded it and uploaded it to the Maverick Freelance channel as well. So he can go put the comment over there. I'll watch for it, and then I'll make a response about how I'm waiting for his response video, and we can take it from there. Other than that, I'm glad everyone else stopped by, and I'm pretty. I'm
out of that fight, by the way. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, come over to my channel, and if you had a problem with the way we said shit, but other than that. Like I said, I'm glad everyone that stopped by. I'm glad that this is all ending on a positive note more than a negative. And definitely glad that, like I said, might be the end of RebelKomix, but it's not the end of Larry, not the end of Niobe, not the end of the Rebel. So it's all good.
Peace out.